Hi everyone, so I have a pale skin swatches type video for you today, except it is a big update on foundation swatches. So I did a video on this, I don't know, about a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago, something like that. And since then, I have gotten a lot more products that work for me color-wise a little bit better. My skin tone is NC5 to NC10. My neck is lighter. I try to match something closer to my neck than to my face. The swatches I did on the inside of my arm, which is very light. It's much lighter than my face. It's probably something kind of like my neck. So we're trying to go for that color tone. I can wear most of these and you'll see that some look pretty dark. I do have the freckles, so I already am a little bit darker on my face from the freckles, and I think it's just kind of an expectation that people with freckles, their face isn't going to quite match up with the rest of them because the face is in the sun all the time. Just if you are curious about my actual skin type, it's oily combination. My cheeks are very dry, very dry. My T-zone goes from kind of slightly oily to very oily. Right now it's not super oily. It's more on the oily side at the moment, but as we get more into fall/winter, it will get a little bit drier. What I'm wearing on my face today is the Buxom Show Some Skin Weightless Foundation, and I applied this with my fingers. I do think I'm going to have a review and demo coming up of this soon. I believe I recorded it a while ago, maybe like a month ago. I just haven't finalized the editing and uploaded it. So that will be coming soon. I think in the video I applied it with a sponge maybe. So I did record getting ready today. Whether or not that's ever going to see the light of day, I don't know. A lot of times if I'm with my setup all ready to go, then I'll just record when I'm putting on my makeup, and sometimes it shows up on the internet, sometimes it doesn't. So I did a lot of swatches. I started out with two things that I thought more people might have access to / know what they look like already. So the MAC Pro Longwear concealer in NC15. I have this under my eyes. This formula works for me under my eyes amazingly well. For my face, it's a tiny bit dark. It seems very light at first, but it does oxidize down a fair bit darker. And the other kind of reference swatch was the MAC Face and Body in C1. So I don't wear this straight. That would be very dark. I mix it with the white, and I do about half and half, sometimes a little bit more white to the C1. So those are the two first swatches that I have. Next, color-wise, probably one of my best color matches, but the formula, I just can't find a NARS formula that works for me. This is Sheer Glow in Siberia. And this is the most cool yellow, which I think works best for my skin tone since I'm not deeply yellow. I'm not on the peach side. I'm definitely not on the pink side. I'm just kind of more of a cool yellow on the warm end of things. And this is a great color for me, but I just can't make the formula work. But there it is. This is also a pretty good color match for me. It's the Charlotte Tilbury Magic Foundation, and this is in shade Fair number 1, and it's quite light. It's a formula that definitely wears a lot better for me and is somewhat similar to my next swatch, which is the Lancôme Idole Ultra, and this is in 90N Ivory. And I think this is supposed to be more of a neutral shade, but it is a little bit on the pink peach side, and it's a little bit dark. This one's a little bit lighter, a little bit more on the yellow side, but still kind of more the warm peachy as opposed to cool yellow. This formula works amazing for me. I've had the best luck with this formula, so if I could get this in a better color, like a cooler yellow color, it would be the best. But, you know, I still wear this very regularly. And one of my lightest options is from the drugstore. It's the L'Oreal True Match in W1. Unfortunately, again, this formula doesn't work very well for me, but the color is really nice. It doesn't oxidize down very dark. As you can see from the swatches, I tried to give everything time enough to dry so you could see what it really looks like, because the swatch, especially I find in the very light shades, when you first swatch it versus when it's dried, it can be pretty different. Something like the NARS Creamy Concealer in Chantilly, to me, swatch is very light, but then it dries down quite dark, so it's a little surprising. So you never know. So I did try to get these, some of the swatches toward the end weren't fully dry, or if I had a really heavy swatch, unfortunately, it didn't fully dry. But anyway, this one doesn't oxidize very dark, which is, I think, an awesome option. If you can get this formula to work for you, I would highly recommend it. It just doesn't last very long on my face, unfortunately. So yes, very nice color. Love that it's very affordable at the drugstore, easy to get. I do have several BB/CC creams. The Missha Perfect Cover BB Cream in shade number 13. This is a pretty good shade. It's kind of a more on the beige side, and it is quite light. I can apply it with my fingers, which I love. And yeah, it does have a scent though, so I don't love that, but it is a very nice color. My husband and my 3-year-old are at the grocery store and the baby is sleeping, but they just came home. So I'm gonna try to wrap this up and help them with lunch. So another Missha BB cream I have is the Signature Real Complete BB cream in shade 13. This is more kind of pink clay is what comes to mind for me. So it's not the best color match for me, but it is, as you can see, quite light, so I do appreciate that. This one I can't apply with my fingers, that whole settling into my pores, which I have a new updated video about. This is one that I can't wear straight, but I do like to mix this one with other things. And so I can take something that's a little bit dark and yellow and mix it with this, which is a little more pink, and come out with a decent color that I can just slap on with my fingers. So this one is both, Missha is now available at Target, so that makes it a lot more accessible for us in the US, and then that means you can use kind of your Target beauty discounts on it, or your Target Red Card 5% off all the time discount. I'm very happy about that. I believe next is the Buxom Show Some Skin Weightless Foundation. This is a little bit more, I would say this is the most cool yellow after the NARS Siberia. It's not quite that level, but it is similar. It's a little bit less peach and a little bit more on the cool yellow side. So it's a color that I like. I can apply it with my fingers, so I appreciate that ease of application. All the ones that I can apply with my fingers generally don't last as long as things that I need to apply more carefully, like the Lancôme and the Magic Foundation, and just kind of the traditional foundations. This one's almost a tinted moisturizer. It's a little bit more emollient, a little more moisturizing. So if you have a very oily skin, this probably wouldn't work too well for you. But I like this. This is another option that's available, I believe, at both Ulta and Sephora, so that's always nice. So I have one more CC cream, and this is the discontinued Rachel K CC cream in Fair. So this is very, very pink, but it is also quite light. So wearing this alone is a little not so great, but this is another one that I can mix into things. I can't apply it straight, but I wouldn't want to just because it's kind of a crazy color. But yeah, if you happen to come across this, or maybe you have it in your stash, consider mixing it with something else. I think it mixes well with other things. This one I think is the darkest other than perhaps the MAC Face and Body, and it's the Ready Set Gorgeous in 105 from CoverGirl. I really do like this formula. It wears very well for me. Not as well as the Lancôme Teint Idole Ultra, which is the best wearing foundation I have, but it's something similar. I feel like it's a similar type of formula, and it's not cakey or powdery or funky looking. It's just that kind of nice, it's a matte but not super duper matte. And I can mix this with either something light or a white. If it was lighter, I think it would be an amazing option at the drugstore. This one's a little bit lighter than the other CoverGirl, but not that much. It's the Outlast Stay Fabulous 3-in-1 in 805. This again is a nice formula, and it's also kind of like the Lancôme. And again, if it were lighter, it would be a good option. These are both more on the peachy, kind of warm side. Next is another one of the really light options. This is a pretty good color match for me, though I have difficulty wearing this formula. It's the Kevyn Aucoin Sensual Skin Enhancer in SX01. So it is very light, and it's more kind of neutral-ish warm. It's not too pink, so I like that. It's the concentration more of a concealer than a foundation, so a little teeny tiny bit goes a long way. It does dry somewhat matte, I believe, and I just haven't really used this to figure out a way to make it work. It is scented. It's a pot. Not my favorite type of format. I don't really love things that are scented, but there you go. Another very light option, which is new and super scented, which is unfortunate. It's the Josie Maran Vibrancy Foundation, and this is in Dynamic RG5. Very light, very nice formula. As far as aside from the fragrance, the formula seems to be quite nice. It reminds me a little bit of like a heavier, maybe a thicker formula of the Buxom Show Some Skin, so it's a little bit more emollient, it's a little more dewy. If you don't mind the scent and you have normal to maybe dry skin, I think this might be an option to look at if your skin isn't too sensitive to things like fragrance. So there you go. Paula's Choice Barely There Sheer Matte Tint. This is my last tinted moisturizer and my second to last foundation that I have in my swatch video for you today. This is in level 1, and this is quite dark, as you can see, but this mixes really well with other things. If you are dark enough to wear this alone, I think it's really nice. It's not super sheer, but it's definitely light to sheer coverage on the sheer side. But yeah, I do like to mix this with things like, I almost smacked myself in the face. I like to mix it with a Rachel K CC cream. I've mixed it with the Missha Signature Real Complete, since this is more pink, and it kind of shears out things that are a little bit heavy or matte that don't go on with the fingers too well, and makes it so that I can apply it with my fingers. So I feel like this is a really nice mixing option. Paula's Choice very often has sales. They almost always have some sort of at least a 10% off coupon code floating around. So if you're looking for a tinted moisturizer that's on the yellow side that you want to mix with things that are too pink for you, perhaps this is an option. Or if you're a little bit dark, maybe around NC15 or so, maybe this would work for you. Last, this is not something I wear very often. I should have returned it, but I just didn't because I ordered it online, and that often means I'm too lazy to return it. So this was the Laura Mercier Cream Smooth Foundation, and the color is Porcelain Ivory. This is very yellow. It's kind of like, it reminds me of, it's a darker version, but a similar yellow tone to the mineral powder from Laura Mercier in Soft Porcelain. And this one's Porcelain Ivory. I've got porcelain in the name, but also just yellow, quite yellow. Whew. I think I bought this originally because I was looking for something that would sit better on my dry cheeks. I've found other ways of dealing with my dryness. Unfortunately, this really did not sit well on my oilier T-zone. No surprise, it's a more emollient formula made for dry skin. So if you don't mind a pot, and you have more of dry skin, and you're looking for a very yellow color that's not quite as light as my lightest things here, but still fairly light, maybe this would work for you. So that's my roundup of my current foundations that work more or less for me. Some work better than others. Some formulas work better than others for me. I would say my favorite kind of color slash formula would be the Charlotte Tilbury Magic Foundation and the Lancôme Teint Idole Ultra, along with the BB cream, CC creams, and the Buxom Show Some Skin. Those are my favorites. And I do really enjoy that MAC Pro Longwear concealer. Did I mention that? It wears under my eyes and it looks like skin. It's amazing. I have very dry under eyes, and that formula works so well for me under my eyes. On the rest of my face, it's okay. It doesn't last on my nose very long, even though it's the Longwear, whatever. It just kind of wears off. But anyway, so I hope that was helpful for you. Let me know if you have any good, really fair foundations that you've run across. While I have a lot and I am willing to try others, I'm not looking to buy a ton, but I'm always kind of intrigued. I have a new playlist that's all about foundation. So all my reviews and demos of other foundations will be in that video, along with this one and my settling into pores foundation videos, my previous swatch video. So hopefully that will help. Let me know if you have any questions about the products that I showed. If you want to see anything else that I have in my collection, I do have some powder foundations, and I could also maybe do concealers. Potential next video in this kind of series, let me know if you have any suggestions. I would love to hear from them. So I hope you're having a wonderful day. Thank you so much for watching and subscribing if you do, and I'll see you soon.